Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about relaunching an old series of mine, and that is my first series ever, which includes my debut novel. So this is the old edition, this is The Edge of Hope, which is book 1, and this is what it looks like. And this is book 2, which is The Breaking of Bonds. Book 3 was never released in this series because things happened. Now, the first one was launched on April 3rd, 2014. That was the official release date. I think it arrived on Amazon a day or two early because I didn't know much about pre-orders then. I don't even know if they were a thing. And then this was published like a year and a half later. And when they were first launched, the results were pretty decent for what I thought to be decent at the time, but then sales fizzled. So I am going to completely relaunch this series, pull the books from Amazon and re-release new editions. So while I do that, I thought I could do a 3-part video documenting this release. This first video will discuss why I decided to relaunch the series. The second video will get into the how of all this release madness, how I did it, how I scheduled the releases, and what was the reasoning behind that. And the third video, which I assume will be sometime at the end of May or even later in June, will focus on the results of this relaunch. So the main reason why I decided to completely relaunch the book is that this needed a lot of editing. So at the time when I published the book, I did go through an editor and proofreading and beta readers and everything. But right now, looking through this, when I thought of just sprucing it up, just changing the covers and re-promoting the books, I went through this and I was just thinking I'll just look for any last minute typos and things like that, and I decided this needs an edit. It needs some tough love. And I didn't change anything about the story or the character arcs, but the style of writing, I changed the heck out of that. I'm still in the middle of it actually. Well, not in the middle, I'm in the final third part of the novel. So yeah, it was an arduous endeavor. But given all of that and the fact that I have new covers and that will change the formatting quite a bit, I decided to go with the second edition just to signal readers that the product they're getting now is very different from the original. The thing with Amazon is they will push updates to those who already bought the book, but there have to be major changes in the story. And I changed the style it's delivered, but the storyline isn't changed at all. And instead of gambling and having people who won't have access to this in the new format, I decided it's just better to relaunch it completely. This is going to be a perma-free as soon as I can get that sorted with Amazon and elsewhere. So it's not like I'll make people pay again for it. For this one, the story will be basically the same with minor edits and new formatting, new cover, but I'm not that worried because this sold really poorly anyway. The reason why I decided to change the covers is that, well, this one I loved when I first got it. I like having Anthony on the cover, and I saw the fonts were great and the back of it looked interesting, but I didn't realize this wasn't the most modern way of using fonts on an urban fantasy. It changed since I published it a lot, and I didn't realize just how tough it was to read this in a thumbnail or how important that was. So I will just pop on the screen right here the new covers for the first 2 books. And yeah, they look quite different now. And I think they're much better. And for the second one, now that you can see them side by side, you'll notice this has the biggest change. And the thing is that I took Lewis out of the cover. This is Seth, this is Lewis. They're both vampires and they're both 2 sides of a love triangle. That's kind of complicated. And I love that. I love the concept of that. Displaying the the two men, the main character is trapped between. But the problem with that is that people assume this was gay romance, which is not. Plus, the cover is really busy. There was really no room for the font. This is even harder to read. So we just went to Seth, made him a bit smaller, and went with the darker feel of the initial cover, and kept that for book 3 as well. And you can see book 3 now, because why not? This will be the last in this story arc. I'm not sure these are going to be the last books in the Bad Blood series. I might stray in a different arc that I've been considering for a while, but yeah, I needed to make these changes, and knowing all I know now, I think I have a way better chance of promoting this in a way that it's not just a black hole that never made up its investment, because I think the editing and the storytelling in the second book is way better. That's true for the third book as well. I love this story, I love the characters, I'm not ready to give up on them, and this will give me the best chance to revive this whole series. What's interesting is that at the same time I know Claire is revamping a series of hers without re-releasing it, so it will be a nice comparison and something I'll probably address in my streams with her and in my results video. I'm aiming at using this, the ebook, as a magnet, and that's what I'll use to get subscribers that are interested in urban fantasy, because I'm planning to write more than just these 3 books. As you know, I'm working on a witch series, and I do have a pretty large newsletter. My newsletter has about 2,900 subscribers right now, but all of those came from the gay fiction and romance world, and there's not a lot of crossover from male-male relationships or male-male-female relationships into straight male-female. Although this is not a romance, this is purely an urban fantasy. There are romantic subplots, but they're not everything in the book, and they're not the focus of it. This one ends on a cliffhanger, this one ends on a happy for now, romance-wise, and the third one will have a happy ending for the character, but that's just a small part of the story. Hi Ares, thank you for interrupting. So yeah, this needs to be targeted at a very different readership. So that is why I'm doing everything that I'm doing. The other reason why I decided completely republishing it would be a great idea is because at the point where I published this, I did not realize that a year and change between 2 books is too long of a wait, even if you had other releases in the meantime, because I was a noob and I didn't know what I was doing. Nobody waits for a year and a half when you're not traditionally published. They just don't. They expect it from traditional publishers, but not from indie authors, and that was stupid and I didn't know it, because I just didn't. So now I have the opportunity to just do a quick release for this series, at least for the first 2 books, because I still have to finish writing and editing the third book, which I have about 50% of it already written, which is shameful that I've had that for so long. And the reason why the third book was such a pain in the ass for me was that first, in 2016, I had those 6 months where I wrote nothing, and that's when I was intending to release book 3, like autumn 2016. And then in 2017, I was so determined to make this work as an independent author, because I was finally releasing everything as an indie. I was no longer with a publisher. That was a tough transition, and I was worried I wouldn't make it, so I just focused on the things that I knew could just boost my career faster, and that was my LGBT fiction and romance books. But now that I'm diving deep into this, I'm really loving it, and I think I can really build a nice readership with this, and that these people will also love the series I'm working on, which is different in feel, but it's been described as gritty and as having a darker sort of vampires in it, so in that aspect it kind of resembles the world I'm creating for the Witch series. There might actually be crossover. But we won't talk about that right now. That's something that I'm considering if I decide to continue the series. And if I decide to do that, if the third book performs well and I manage to get a lot of sign-ups for this one and sell through the series, I might have 3 more books added to this world. And I'm hoping that happens because the ideas I have are super thrilling and I want to get it written. So yeah, this is why I've reached this conclusion and I'm now kind of in the middle of it. My hopes are that I finish editing The Edge of Hope by the end of this month and do a run through The Breaking of Bonds again before the end of the month, so in early April I can release both of them. This would be really early on, like before Easter, and this will be after Easter. There will be a pre-order link for the second book when the first book goes live, and actually there will also be a pre-order link for book 3 at the same time, because what I'm banking on is that if I get enough people to download the free version of this one and read through, they will want to continue the series. So if they know this comes out in another week, it won't be a problem, especially since the third and final book in this story arc will come out in another month. So it's a very short wait for them, not, 4 years, as it was for the people who initially bought this. So I'm thinking all of this will work. If I can stick with my plans, then at the end of April you will have the second video about the details of republishing everything and going from Kindle Unlimited, which is where the books are now, to a wide distribution. And if you're wondering why I did that, is because I wanted to use this on Insta Freebie to get email subscribers, and it helps to have this be perma-free everywhere as soon as I can. Having a perma-free book, according to a lot of people, drives a lot of sales. Some say you should keep it at 99 cents. I'm going to try it this way because with this series that doesn't sell at all, it's easy to experiment. I'm not losing much. I mean, I did invest in the new covers and I have to invest in the editing for book 3, but it's a relatively minor investment. So yeah, that's my plan. Do let me know what you think about all of this. If you've relaunched an older series or revived it in any way, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Do like this video if you've enjoyed it, and maybe share it if you think someone else will find it useful. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It really does help me a lot. And tonight I'm hoping to get this out before the stream starts, but this morning US, evening my time, will be the last D&D live stream with Travis, Mike and Bob. It's the last time you see us for the first season of Calculated Risks. We'll take a break for a few weeks, which kind of makes me sad, but I hope to see you there. Then tonight I'll be on Sarah's stream, now that I know to wake up earlier and take daylight savings into consideration. Tomorrow I will have my normal author chat, Saturday in the AM US time, and then on Sunday Claire and I will have this month's Descent into Madness live stream, which I'm really looking forward to. I hope I see you for all of these. If not, you will always be able to watch the replays. So yeah, thank you so much, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!